Wow, this is amazing. You have got 21 days of making the entire utilization, the good utilization of this time. And you know what? Sometimes I feel that this is something I think gift of God. Otherwise, you have been longing to be with your family, do what you want, have a me time, self time, and now God has blessed you. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has blessed you. This 21 days of happiness of Corona festival is inside. Where you need to just do one thing is you have to work inside. And for that,
Yeah.
there is something you need to understand how to get inside. Everyone knows how to go outside of the home, but let me introduce to someone who will teach you how to get inside. How does that sound? So, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear friends, and the people who are locked in outside but ready to open up inside, meet the person of the show today. Welcome so much, Mr. Rakesh. And Rakesh Rana, just to introduce you, he had been into a very high performance a mentor, a strategist, and he had been helping not only people who are experts, but he's been helping entrepreneurs. Uh, he has been helping the mid-level segment of people who are already into some sort of an employment. They want to do something beyond in their life. People like you and me who are stuck right now, I think is the right platform to invite somebody like Rakesh Rana. And he has, I don't know, might be thousands plus people he had been actually nurturing and helping with his wisdom, with his thought processes. And not only that, there are areas where I feel that you need not the Ferraris, but you need sometimes a map. And herein I have Mr. Rakesh. Rakesh, welcome to the show. Thank you so much. I'm privileged to invite you with this interview marathon that I'm doing. And this gives me a lot of courage to see people sharing and opening up and ready to hug this kind of hygienic interviews. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Amit, for giving me this opportunity. I am actually privileged and honored to be on this show. I know where you're coming from, what your intentions and purpose is to bring this message out to the world by bringing in the people who have been through a lot of challenges and they have a story to share with the world that can inspire millions of lives. So, good job to start with, and I'm looking forward to share my part of it where I can help people as well.
Definitely. I mean, it's a privilege, in fact. So let me start with. I usually start with that time where interviews are usually taken. People talk to their sad stories. They talk about all the hardships. I know people like you have actually done that. So let me understand that one day or that one moment when you said, "Okay, man, enough is enough. Shit is shit. I've done enough, and let me do something which I love. I this is the passion that I want to take it forward." And you chose certain industry. You chose the industry which is, I think, the most auspicious industry of sharing knowledge, sharing learnings, and helping people to win. I would like to know from you the story here.
Sure. So let me probably not share any shared story per se, but I would say more of a success story where people feel that failing in the education may not probably it will convert into a success story. I have never been a failure in the education. I have been rather a topper or a ranker in my throughout study. And the only disadvantage I had was the poverty.
Sorry?
And that I converted poverty
Poverty. Okay.
which I converted into a success when I got my first job through my NIT campus. And from there on, life was on a roller coaster ride, but it was on an upward curve. What I was considering as a luxury for so many years, it came as easy to me. Maybe in terms of money, maybe in terms of house, maybe in terms of reputation, maybe in terms of designation, and everything that I wanted from the life which we were dreaming of as a children, I was
Mm-hmm.
getting it. But there was a time when in May 2018, when I had blessings of my second son just a month back, and I was
Congratulations.
thank you. And in May 2018, when I had this invitation by HR in my company, where I was leading a team of 200 people, three different accounts. and I was a leader of so many other leaders who were working under me. And if you look from the outside, it was a successful journey, 100%. But inside, I was aware that I wasn't getting recognition which I deserve, even though I was going through those challenging environment which I was in. I was also not getting the promotion that I deserve at
Hmm.
that point of time. The reason was very, very simple. What happens in all the corporate life that we have seen in the mid career. In May 2018, I was called by HR with my boss, and they just called me saying that, Rakesh, you know the situation of the project. Now the client has pulled out of the project, and we are going to release so many people. Given that your expertise and domain, we don't find any role for you. So maybe you may be in the pool where we may have to let you go.
Hmm.
And that was the moment where I realized, was it really worth of this 17, 18 years of journey that I have put in, 6 years of hard work in that company?
Hmm.
Was it really worth it? What have I actually achieved by doing that journey?
Hmm.
For family, it was everything. Like I was a son who every parents would desire to have. But for me alone, if I look at a person, I would say that I had only consumed things, a lot of consumption. I had
Hmm.
only taken things from the world, from the universe,
Hmm.
because I was very selfish by only thinking about my own family. There was nothing beyond my family which I had done for. And at that point of time, that was the moment of recognition and reckoning, I would say, that put me into the reflection mode. Then I realized that how should I go about that? And I remember the date called 5th July 2018 when I decided that I would, after missing so many sessions, I decided to go for the complete full day webinar wherein I realized that whether I have that spark to give light to the passion that I already have in myself.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that inbuilt passion was to empowering others to excel. I was doing it unknowingly since my childhood, right from when I was school. I was doing it unknowingly, but
So nice.
at that point of time, on that very day of 5th July, I realized that there is a spark in me which I have actually suppressed for years, and it took me 17 long years to actually light that spark. And on that very day, I decided I was in that 50 lakh rupees debt. I had my child, second child come in. Uh, with my first child, almost 8 years old,
Hmm.
and I had taken a car loan, home loan, and everything. But on that very day, I decided that I want to turn around the things, not by thinking about that what I am under pressure, but
Hmm.
I will just turn around the things for others who are
Hmm.
going through these challenges. And when we talk further, I will definitely elaborate that mid-career per se go through the challenges which are tremendous. They are kind of a housewife, right? Who undergoes the full day pain, but they come back from office smiling and probably at times shouting at the children and the family just to vent out their anger of that crisis which they are going through. And they will
Hmm.
be a silent spectator from the sideline who are just watching their movie being played on the screen in front of them, and they are doing nothing out of that. And that
Absolutely.
is what I realized about myself. And that was the day when I thought, let me probably change first myself and then try and change others. So
Yeah.
that was the day of reckoning for me.
Nice. I think the word one word you said I think meant everything is the first thing is change yourself to change the world. And that
Yeah,
is so powerful. That is so profound. Good.
yeah,
So now since I know that that was the day when you sparked this amazing energy in yourself, and now you have getting into it, I'm sure you have came across such kind of people. I mean, you have spoken to more than 1,000 plus people who are already connected with you. You've got their your wisdom words. So can you tell me some of the experiences that you have actually helped someone to come out of their problems? And really, any example that you can share to the audience, because I'm
Sure.
sure as you can talk about that, please. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Out of 1000, I can give you the categories, in fact.
Oh,
That will
nice.
be the easier way to categorize the people. So,
Mm,
one category of the people I come across and I speak to over the last 2.5 years, I have spoken to almost 1,000 plus people.
mm,
They are in that mediocre thinking, the average thinking, whatever conditioning which has happened through the schooling, through the parents, through the corporate, they want to
mm,
be in that cell. So they will look for the safety option or the survival option. That is the one part or the one category which I cater to. Okay. Uh, Second category is people having the spark which is suppressed for long time. They realize that what pain they are going through, the movie that they are just playing as an extra, they want
mm,
to be an active role. They want to be a hero of that own movie. And
mm,
when they want to be a hero of their own movie, they decided that I need to change.
mm,
That is the second category which I come across. The
mm,
third category which I come across is people know that they want to change, but they are stuck. Now
mm,
they don't know where to go. Now, whether
mm,
should I continue with my job? Whether should I leave the job and become an entrepreneur? How will I become successful? What if I fail? What if this doesn't work out? What happens after 2 years if it fails? Then where would I go? Whether
mm,
I should go back to my job or whether I should continue with a different path.
mm.
So these three categories put together cover this mid-career crisis per se, wherein people either looking for their influence being not made despite having years and decades of experience, or their wealth has not gone up to the level which they deserve as
Mm,
per their potential,
mm.
or their growth has been stagnant for long, long time. So all three categories, I would put it as an experience in front of the audience, I would say.
Nice. So I'm sure when you have three different kind of patients, you will have three different kind of medications as well. So I'm
Yes.
more curious to know, like, how do you treat and what are your diagnostics? You've done the diagnostics, but I'm
100%.
sure there is a house treatment. And as I'm curious, might be the audience is also curious, like, how do you impact so many people and make them come out and excel in their life?
Absolutely. So I would call this word called the intelligence.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I would call this word as an intelligence. As
Acha,
long as
intelligence.
people are driven by the intelligence, okay, they are supposed to work from the outside in. That
Correct.
means whatever happening as a reality around them, that is what they consider as a truth and they will react to that accordingly. In all
Mm,
three categories which I talk about, the first people who are just looking for survival, what I
mm,
give them is the career guidance, especially how to route through the mid career. That is what I guide them. The leadership path they need to take. How do they actually cover their leadership journey? That is
mm,
what I teach them. The
mm,
second lot, which is actually they know that they need to change, they are the people who are on the edge. They
mm,
want to dabble, but they don't want to go in fully.
mm,
So these are the people they need to discover themselves. And how
mm,
to discover themselves? By going inside. And
mm.
for going inside, you have to be more unintelligent than the intelligent.
Nice,
If
nice
you go
articulation.
inside by being intelligent, you are never going to go inside.
Mm,
Okay,
nice.
because your logic, your tactics and your strategy will stop you to go inside, because your current reality is what will stop you as a barrier to your going to the next level. That is the second category. The
Mm,
third category is an entrepreneurial journey. A lot of people want to get into it. Some just by comparing the youth. Now the current youth is right after the college, they come up with an idea and then do the startup, right? Now they people are going to go ahead in the race compared to the mid-level people who are almost a decade old experience, I would say, or more than that.
Hmm.
Now, when they compare themselves, they would compare and they'd say that, why can't I do it? Okay. But years of conditioning have put them into a, I would say, a trap wherein any step outside their comfort zone will be kind of a punishment. It is like a compliance to all the things, compliance to their comfort life, compliance to the policies of companies, compliance to the rules and regulations that they have been taught to grow up with, and so on. Now, if this is the situation which they continue, they need to understand how do they take up the entrepreneurship. So I help them by creating the side hustle first, and then creating the business model around them,
Nice.
that what their passion is and how do they actually convert that passion into their business model. That is
Hmm.
what ideation, which happens along with the journey that they take up with me. So
Yeah.
these are the three categories I would say.
Nice. So if I can probably summarize, it has to be something which is inside out methodologies of yours. And the smart word that you have used is the unintelligence word.
Yeah.
Probably even you won't find it in dictionary other than meet Mr. Rakesh. He's the person who has identified this new word now. And the one more point that you mentioned was, the conformity factors, which are like stopping people, the compliances that you said. And now, since you have opened up so far, I'm also more interested, like, how do you take to that internalization word and how people actually bridge between the job, the the second job, and the family. I think there are a lot of people who are already in a mess and they call this as a work and life balance. Now you have a work,
Yes.
a hustle, and a life balance. Over to you.
Yes. So that's an interesting perspective because I met an entrepreneur yesterday who was having 20 years of experience. I would just He said that I have an issue with the time management. I
Hmm.
do a lot of stuff. I want to create something and I know that it will be created after 1 or 2 years. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
And but I'm not able to manage all the activities during the day so that I can fit in and work on my long-term vision and
Hmm.
also survive in the current state.
Hmm.
I said you're not struggling with the time management. You are actually struggling with the conflict between your survival and the vision.
Very
And
nice.
most of the mid career people who are stuck by this conflict of survival and vision, they are going to face the challenges. Now,
Hmm.
there is nothing called a concept called the work life balance. It was a coined term by the people who wanted to give themselves as a comfort. Okay.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
help me understand, if you are driven by your family, if you love your family, would you not mind spending your 2 hours with your family? Why do you
Absolutely.
require you to compromise on other things
Hmm.
which you feel that you need to balance that part? Second
Hmm.
thing, if you love your vision so much, which you need to create in your life, then why wouldn't you spend your 15, 16 hours of the day by curtailing some of the non essential activities in your life and probably follow them? So I have overcome that work life balance. When I was in the corporate, I used to feel the same.
Hmm.
But now I feel that what they call as a work life balance is mostly a conflict between a vision and the survival. And as
Hmm.
long as their mind will be focused on the survival, they will never be able to focus on the vision part. And
Hmm.
for that, I would give only the one tip, and that is you need to have a patience to achieve your vision, but you need to have a hunger to come out of your survival.
So nice. So nice. Nice.
So if you can have that both hunger and patience at the same time, that is when you will be at the next level.
Absolutely. So if I again this part of the bits is like probably I'm listening to the live series of people who are locked in right now, and if you are able to listen to what Rakesh is talking about, it's all about you know the consciousness of how you are wasting or investing your focus. I'll not say the time. I go along with. I definitely agree with Rakesh, and also about if how fast and how accurate you have predicted or you have identified or you got the guidance of the purpose of your existence. I think that sums
Absolutely.
up everything, right? So Rakesh,
True.
since you have told so far, and why don't you also let me know, like there are these people who are right now listening and watching this video live, some or the other way they are also feeling stagnant. They are, it's a new kind of a fear, the fear of unknown. They have no idea this fear of unknown is till what time. Again, the time factor comes into place. And now
Absolutely.
you have this lucky number called as 21 days locked in period. Over to you.
Yes.
I know you can do the magic here now.
Yes. So, I mean, I was doing this live a few days back regarding this fear, especially the COVID fear that we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and again, I would probably bring it point that what level of consciousness that you have actually nurtured in yourself. Honestly
Mm.
speaking, when you look at the COVID as a phenomena which has actually inflicted so much pain on the world over today,
Mm-hmm.
and if you really analyze that, what has actually happened? Is it really the virus which is causing this issue?
Mm.
Honestly speaking, the virus will go away. We will find out the vaccines. We will find out the treatment and everything. Correct. What has actually it has inflicted in us is the insecurities and fears.
Absolutely right.
Lot of insecurities and lot of fears, and people have come to a stage where when the 21 days lockdown was announced, people just rushed to the shop and started hoarding the things for themselves,
Mm.
as if their survival is at stake, despite prime minister of this country has announced that no essential supply will be affected by this lockdown.
Mm.
Despite the highest assurance of the people, people have gone into that survival mode. And this is the age of Stone Age. If you remember our Stone Age, people used
Mm.
to just live for the survival. They used to hunt for the food. They used to just protect themselves from the animals, and they used to kind of locking themselves down in the caves.
Mm.
And this situation of 21 days is nothing different than that.
Mm.
Now we have a modern chaos with all the connectivity to the world. We know what is happening around us, unlike the Stone Age. But now we are more fearful than what the Stone Age people were. It is
Mm.
just about raising your consciousness and understand that this fear is created fear by you playing as a director, producer, and actor of that fear.
So nice
I
articulation. Nice.
many a times I just go back to this because this movie itself, I would say, fascinates me because when I wrote my first article, I wrote "Be the hero of your life."
Mm.
That means we have been always playing extra. We have been always conditioned, and we have been always looking at the things from the external perspective. And this fear of corona has been created. Certainly, there are care, caution, and everything you need to take care of. And you are aware of these things. By reading so many WhatsApp messages, it is not going to change today. But just raising that consciousness by keeping yourself calm and keeping yourself as well as the others safe by socially isolating and virtually connecting to the people who are right for you, and learning and upgrading yourself will make you more, I would say, conscious about yourself and more towards your progress rather than the regression that we have gone into for the last 20 25 days, I believe.
Nice. Awesome. I mean, Rakesh, you know what? It is like a machine gun shooting all the wisdom bullets one after another. You know, it's like back to back, da 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 da, kind of. And I'm sure the way you have articulated with some of the similes, which I really appreciate, is the modern cave. And I think
Yes,
you should definitely make a new line of thoughts where you are the hero of your life as a movie. And probably if I need to put all these things, whatever is my understanding goes back here is, so social distancing, virtual connecting, and influencing your inner self are the three basic keys
absolutely,
that you have to do it,
absolutely.
right? So with that, Rakesh, is there any questions? Because right now, I think, I should ask you this way. Is there any question do you think I should have asked you?
Okay. Uh, I think not really, but what I would definitely like to give message to your audience and audience in general who would be looking at this video later on as well, right?
Hmm.
First and foremost, start working on yourself. That is the first thing you can actually do a favor. The biggest favor that you can do in your life is start working on yourself.
Hmm.
Identify your purpose of being on this state. While we are consuming everything around us, right from the information to the food to the harming the animals and people around us, just
Hmm.
for our own survival state, I think you need to think beyond yourself, your family, because purpose doesn't mean that you are living for your family.
Hmm.
That everybody does. Even
Hmm.
animals also live for their families, right?
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
also protect their families. They also feed their children. So we
Hmm.
are doing nothing different as human, given the psychological, biological, and physical development that we have gone into. I think
Correct.
this is the another thing which we need to look at. The third thing is, I'm sure each one of us has something to share with the world. Please come out, share, and actually trade your own journey rather than being a spectator on the sideline. That's the only message I would like to give them.
So nice, and I'm so blessed and honored to have you in this show. And I'm also happy that in one information itself, you said, "Yes, Amit, I'm going to do this for you." And this itself shows the openness of some of the next level leaders and the mentors. So, guys, if you're watching this live, should be blessed that in spite of this 21 days of lockdown, we have got someone who can unlock your true potentials. So with that, let me thank and acknowledge his time and the valuable words that he has shared. Rakesh, once again, from the side of me, my team, and the entire crew who is working behind me, thank you so much for being here. And there are possibilities that we might have to reconnect back. We might have to do something which is beyond this. And definitely, I'm not leaving any stone unturned. And if you have any suggestions, viewers, you can write it down, you can connect, you can share, you can save this, and whatever it is. I am more happy. I'm sure Rakesh is also open up. If you have any kind of things that were stuck in, and if we can do this virtual hygienic way of increasing and raising your consciousness so that you become the next level and the version 2.0 and help India to become the golden bird once again, we are definitely going to be with you.
Absolutely. Amen to that wish for sure, Amit. And I am really, really grateful to you to invite me on this show. It helps me to reach out to the people who are actually being spectators, who are not speaking themselves out, right? Who are just keeping all their themselves into a cocoon and they're staying there just by following what the orders are or instructions are. And I am offering this on your show, and I have actually put it in the social media as well. For this 21 days, I am offering almost 21 hours of consulting or the strategy call to the people who are stuck either in life, in career, leadership, or otherwise. I would be
So
more
nice.
than happy to talk to you guys. Just ask me or reach out to me on the social media or through Amit, and I'll be happy to share my calendar to just slot up my time as well.
Thank you so much, audience, for listening to us for such a long. If you have liked this, if you have felt that this is the kind of a value that someone needs at this point of time, feel free to share this. Feel free to save it for yourself. I'm not asking you to like it because if you have seen so far, you have already liked it. I know that. But what I'm trying to do is, if this can actually influence somebody to look inwards, and if they can actually get some kind of those kind of nuggets and tips from experts like Rakesh, I think this is the right time. Do that small thing. It does not cost you anything. Just share it and put it to the gentleman who needs it badly. You might not know. Some people are very silent. They don't open up. As Rakesh rightly said, the introverts are the best person because this is the right time to help them. Thank you so much for being here, Rakesh. Thank you once again, and definitely we will have much more opportunities to do such kind of
Absolutely.
things. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Amit.